You're listening to the Master Passive Income Podcast Network. Welcome to the Master Passive Income Show. My name's Dustin Heiner, and I'm here to help you get financial independence, create generational wealth for you and your loved ones by investing in real estate. And in today's show, super pumped to share with you how you, as a busy person, just like we all are, how you can invest in real estate for financial freedom, even if you have a full-time job, full-time family, and full-time life, how I did it and how you can do it as well. All right, let's start the show.
Welcome to the Master Passive Income Podcast, where we talk about investing in real estate with a special focus on making enough money so you can quit your job and live the dream life. And now, here's your host, Dustin Heiner.
What's up? What's up? Super blessed, as always, to have you here with me on the show. Now, I am fresh back from my trip to Japan. So, like I was telling you, I think a couple weeks ago, that I'm recording in Japan. Well, I got back from Japan with loads and loads of jet lag and had an amazing time. In fact, in Tokyo, we did so many great things. I probably gained at least 4 or 5 pounds from eating amazing food. And then we went to the Sea of Japan, which is the northwest area of Japan. I literally drove 3.5 hours on the left-hand side of the road. And with my big family, it's hard. Trains would cost a lot of money. So we rented a car, and I got to have a lot of fun driving on the left-hand side of the road. Went up to the Sea of Japan, got an Airbnb right on the ocean there. It was phenomenal. We had a great time. And all the while, all of my real estate was working for me. I didn't have to do anything. Number one, my real estate, the properties make me money. They're the ones that really are doing the hard work. But then I have other people, experts, doing all of the work for me, managing properties, fixing up the properties, all that sort of stuff. So I don't have to do anything. And so if I go someplace for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or whatever, I don't want to think about a business. I don't want to think about my real estate. I want other people to do all the work. Think that first. Capture that in your head. As you go on vacation, well, number one, you're not asking a boss because you don't have a job. You're able to just go wherever you want and do whatever you want. And for weeks and weeks and weeks, not even worry about working a job, working for somebody else. Now, we also utilize the same game plan that allows me to travel for weeks at a time without even thinking about my money because it comes in automatically and I have experts doing it. That's the same game plan for you as a full-time employee, full-time mom or dad, full-time, let's say, coach at, your kid's little league, or that's not really full-time, but you know what I mean? Like, you have a full-time life and a full-time family. Well, that is the exact same game plan that I put in place when here's my schedule when I was working a job. I'd wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I'd go do CrossFit from 5 to 6 a.m., take a quick shower, head to my business. I had a brick and mortar business. It was a convenience store with a pizzeria. We made pizza there at the same time. And so I would go there, open up the business, get the employees going. And then I would go to my full-time job that I work 40 plus hours a week doing. And then I would work until probably about 5 o'clock. And then I would go to my business, close down the business, and then go home probably about 7, 8 o'clock, have dinner, kiss the wife and kids goodnight, and go to bed and do it all over again. Over and over and over again. And the reason why I am now able to travel the world, and number one, have enough money is because of real estate. But number two, to have enough time is because of the systems, procedures, and processes, and the business that I created when I was working a full-time job. See, now when you're working a full-time job, you have 40 plus hours of your life devoted to someone or something else as opposed to yourself. Now, what we need to do is realize that, number one, if you've been listening to my show for any stretch of time, you know that I always say we build the business first. And I've been saying this for 10 years. And the reason why I was able to invest in real estate, I have my business, have a job, have a family, do all that sort of stuff, is because when you build a business, you get experts doing all the work for you. So when you are full-time everything, you don't have time to invest in real estate. How about you having people sending you deals? What about having people fund or get money for your deals? Other people managing your deals, other people fixing up the deals. There are other people doing all that work. That is what we do as real estate investors is we make sure before we buy the property that number one, it's going to make us money. And number two, we have other people doing all the work for us. And so if you're working a full-time job, this episode is 100% for you. Now, I've coached thousands of people to invest in real estate, put on large conferences called Income Building Live. And if you've been listening to the show for a number of years, you know the transition or the growth of everything. And I usually just tell you everything that we're doing here at Master Passive Income, everything from doing the one-on-one coaching where I stepped out now and my students are now, they're the coaches here at Master Passive Income, to putting on the first ever conference, the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference in 2022, which was super amazing. And then growing 5 years. Now it's the Income Building Live conference because I want you to build income into your life. And then now we even have a portfolio builder program. And now my active students who are actively building their businesses, buying at least a property a month or more, well, they are now in my inner circle. I've created this inner circle now that is where we get together 4 times a year for 2-day, I wouldn't say retreats. That's not what they are. They're intensives. They're getting you moving forward. And we have our inner circle. We just had our inner circle meeting last month. Next one's going to be in August. And if you're interested in joining my inner circle, it's application only. And we meet 4 times a year. We are even planning a cruise, a real estate investor cruise in February of 2027, where we're going to go to the Caribbean, and it's all a tax write-off because it's a mastermind. It's a business event, which is amazing. But if you're an active investor and you want to join me, and like I said, I don't do one-on-one coaching anymore, but on these 2-day intensives that we do, I do lots of coaching because that's what I have the inner circle for, is those people who are active, who are not just kicking tires, but who are actively doing it and wanting to exceed their expectations, exceed their goals, and get the fast track. That is the inner circle. So check the link in the description of this podcast. And you can even find it on masterpassiveincome.com/inner circle, all one word. And you're going to be able to apply. And it is application only. We're only taking on, I think we have only 5 more spots. But this is amazing opportunity for you to get around other active investors. And I even bring in other friends of mine who are expert investors, and they also are teaching and coaching, and you're getting so much value about being a part of the inner circle. And it's also going to help you with your time as well, where you're going to get so many strategies and ways and even coaching to get you out of doing the business and getting other people doing as well. And now I am super pumped to bring on a student of mine who came to Income Building Live. And I asked one of my students to come to Income Building Live, the conference that we put on, and share how he, with a full-time family, full-time job, full-time life, how he invested in real estate and got past all the busyness and got into investing and now is successfully investing. Well, he came on the main stage at Income Building Live and he shared some amazing breakthroughs on how to invest and get cash flow even if you have no time to invest in real estate. And I want to play that for you. So this is going to be my student, Justin Mullins, out of Denver, Colorado. He even runs the Income Builder Club in Denver, Colorado. So you could find more information at Master Passive Income if you want to hang out with him at the Income Builder Clubs in Denver, Colorado. Now let's jump into today's episode where Justin Mullins is going to share with us how we can invest in real estate with a full-time life. Here we go.
I am going to talk about commanding your time. I am a full-time W-2 employee. I have a wife that we've been married coming up on 15 years, and I have a son that's 14 years old, teenager in DC right now on his first long school field trip all week. Like I said, I have a W-2 full-time job, and I work 45, to almost 50 hours a week. So here's my story. I became landlord by accident. So as you were told, I'm a first responder, and I've been doing it for 2 decades. And with government work, anyone here with government work, you know that you can be told to move around pretty regularly. And so I started in Summit County in Breckenridge, Keystone, Summit Cove area. and bought a house eventually, and that ended up being the smartest investment I ever made. I then got transferred, promoted down to Southeast Colorado in 2007, and smart decision. Look, I bought a property, I sold a property, got all this equity capture, and I decided, well, let's do it again. So I buy another property, 2007, August of 2007. Immediately then after that, 2008 hits, and the property goes underwater. Oh no, what am I going to do? And then right after that, in 2010, time to transfer again, time to move, time to go to somewhere else in the state. And so what I had learned there is from having the property being only there for 3 years, there's got to be somebody else who wants to do the same thing or is probably in the same position as me to where live there for a couple of years and then move out. So what I did is I had been renting prior to living up in Summit County. I'd been a tenant a long time. So I just took all my old leases. I was like understanding statutes and government work and how those things work. I can read the statutes and I'll just make my own lease and I'll teach myself how to become a landlord. And you know what? It actually worked. So my house was right about even at that point. I didn't want to take the hit. I didn't want to sell the property. I didn't want to take a loss. But I was able to keep the property and build the lease, took everything I had, and I became a landlord by accident. It worked really well. But life gets busy fast. For over the next 10 to 15 years, right, I have a landlord. I did this one, not the Dustin Heiner way, not the way we're going to talk about this weekend. I did it myself. I found my own tenant. I found my own property. I did the rehabs that I needed. I wrote all my own leases. I managed the lease. I interviewed the tenants. I put my nice shirt on, and I went down and interviewed the people, put somebody in, wrote the leases, did the work. Anytime they complained about something, I went and did the fixes. I rehabbed the deck, everything. So as you can imagine, that was pretty busy. But life itself was getting busy. I had my wife, I had my kid, I have my faith, I have a full-time job that tells you what to do, and anytime the phone rings, you're on call, you're gonna have to go and respond. Life was busy. I have sports started picking up once the kid became of age. You have dining out, you have date nights, then you would have cook, and not to mention working out, keeping in good health, keeping in good physical condition, car maintenance, lots of things. Like life is busy. Go on to by 2023, I had realized over this time, and at somewhere in that process, my dad actually had gotten laid off also. Dustin had talked about that. My dad got laid off, and man, no one is invincible from some of these layoffs that are happening, that's going on. I also noticed that, like I had taught, go to school, get into debt at college, get a good job, get out of debt, invest, have a 401k, and then quit and retire. But then what I had also noticed is a lot of people were retiring and then going right back into the workforce, work at Home Depot, pick up a second job, pick up a security job, do something like that. And it's like, man, that doesn't seem to be working either. And I had also been told, maintain your lifestyle or lower your lifestyle. If you need, throw out the cup of coffee. Don't get the coffee. Spend as little money as possible. And I felt like over those next 13 years, I was maintaining my lifestyle, maybe even a little bit, trying to save money to be able to retire well. I was even getting pay raises, but it just didn't feel like it was keeping up with the cost of expenses. The cost of living seemed to be going up quicker than I felt like I was getting good raises. We were getting great raises, but it was still, even with the same lifestyle, it just wasn't keeping up. So I was like, man, there's got to be something better I can do. So that's when I found Dustin's podcast. I searched, well, what can I do with my property? That was the best investment decision I made, and that was cash flowing a little bit now by this time. So I found his podcast. I started working on from episode 1, just started working my way all the way up, and that quickly became, man, I can do this. I can actually do this on just listening to the podcast. So I got to the point where I had found a property, got to the point where I was about ready to sign the contract. I was like, man, if Dustin puts all of this stuff for free on a podcast, like what's behind the curtain? What am I missing? So I was like, all right before I signed the contract, I signed up for the Master Passive Income for the group coaching, and it immediately paid off, just so you know. So number one, he doesn't keep anything hidden behind the curtain. The problem is he has so much information, he can't get it out just in a podcast. There's not enough information in the week. So it actually accelerates joining Master Passive Income. getting into the group and having the networking available to you. So nothing's hidden, but it does, it accelerates it immensely. And so immediately I learned, I was like, I need to have a property manager, have these things set up, which I did, and it worked and it paid off. But the thing is that I, with that and all the stuff, like I still felt overwhelmed. A lot of things became not what am I going to do, but when. When am I going to have time to do it? I would love to do this if I could only find the time. Where is the time going to come from for us to do this? What needs to be cut? Well, so it was difficult. So with that being said, that's what we're talking about today, is how to command your time. This slide here that you can see is like half of you in the room have an analytical thinking preference. You want to know, am I going to get the bang for the buck? Am I here in the right spot? Is this going to be worth my time being here? So for the next 20 minutes, we're going to talk about why you must command your time. We'll talk about what I found, the system that works every week, because I was able to control my time, and I'll talk about the real results that you'll be able to get right now if you start implementing either this method or another method, but the point being you need to start taking control of your time.
And I want to pause for a quick second and share that honestly, I really want you to invest in real estate. Now, my new goal is to help 1 million people invest in real estate. So 2 things I would ask from you. Number 1, if you get anything out of this episode, please share it with somebody else. Just say, hey, check out Dustin and Master Passive Income. He really wants to help 1 million people to invest in real estate. That's number 1. Number 2, I want to get you to invest in real estate. Get my real estate investing course absolutely for free. Text the word rental, RENTAL, to 33777. Rental to 33777. I'll literally give you my course, show you how to find an area of the country to invest, how to build the business first. I always talk about that, and how to find the right properties, how to make sure you're getting experts to do the work for you, and scale the business to where you're making $250 or more in passive income. Scale it to quit your job. I'll literally get to you, or go to masterpassiveincome.com/free course. Obviously, it'll be in the description, but I really, really want you to invest in real estate, because the more that actual, normal, everyday people own real estate, the better everybody's life gets.
So there's 5 premises we have to talk about on commanding your time, taking control of it. Premise number 1, if you do the hard things now, life gets easier. If you do the easy things now, life will get harder. So for example, if you decide you can either exercise, do your diet, choose to eat the right foods now, take supplements, or later on in life you choose not to do that, you take the easy road, eat whatever you want, don't exercise, sit on the couch. Later on in life, you're going to be forced to do it, I can promise you. You're going to be either taking meds, in a hospital, overweight, obese, out of shape, not feeling good about yourself. You can spend $150 on a date night right now with your wife. You can take her out, wine and dine her, do a nice hotel, nice vacations with her intentionally now, or 5, 10, 15 years down the road, her new husband's going to love your house. Right? Am I wrong? Even counseling's way worse. $200 a week, right? Yeah. No, this is something you do the hard things now. What feels like it's hard, it's not hard. It's actually fun. Date night, you get a dinner, or you want to sit on the couch and talk to a counselor. It's not as fun. You can visit your son, spend intentional time with your kid now. He might be 5, 10, 15 years old. Take the 10 minutes. It doesn't take a long time. Take some time to spend intentional time with him now. Do the hard thing now, or you're going to be visiting him in rehab later. I mean, some of these things, I started seeing that trend. I wasn't happy with it, and that's where I was like, man, we have got to do something about the time. And I was asking myself, when? I'm telling you, these tasks, they're considered vital tasks. We'll talk about them later, but they're the tasks that you can take a little bit of effort every single day, at least every week at a minimum, and they're going to pay off for you 5, 10, 15 years down the road. Premise number 2, everyone gets the same 168 hours in a week. It's it. It doesn't matter who it is, whether you're Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Donald Trump, you, the police officer next door, the firefighter, the full-time worker, the person who works at home, right? You all get the same 168 hours. I'm going to give you a little tidbit. I did some math. You waste 30 minutes a day, even 30 minutes, doom scrolling on the internet, playing the mindless video game, even just vegging out or sitting there, not sure what to do, or just passively watching TV, that adds up to, where did I put it? 182 hours per year. 182 hours per year. That's 4.5 40 hours a week, 40-hour work weeks that you just wasted by wasting 30 minutes per day. That adds up very, very quickly, and that's the time we're going to find back and bring that back. Premise 3, there are 3 types of time. There's mandatory time. This is the time where it's allocated for you. You'll find a lot of the premises I talk about is just like money. There's 3 types of time. There's mandatory time. For example, if you have a full-time job, we're not stealing from our employees, right? That time is dedicated to the work. We're going to do that with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength. And that time has already been allocated. If you have time with your kid, if you're going to practice, if you have to work out, that's time you've dedicated. That's mandatory time. Then you have free time. That's your white space in your calendar. You'll hear some people say white space is the devil. In this instance, I think it's all right to have it. It will fill up later, and we'll talk about how it fills up. And then the third type of time that I feel like we've come across is now I call hybrid time. This is a time where you might be dedicated to be somewhere, but there's something else you can be doing at the same time to advance your personal mission. For example, if I'm at soccer practice, is there not a podcast I can listen to? If I'm on my way to or from work or taking the bus to or from work or somewhere, is there not something else I can be doing to advance the mission rather than just playing a mindless video game? There is hybrid time available. While I'm at lunch, am I sitting around just shooting the breeze with the normal people? Or can I be a regular at a established business with other business focus and branching out on my network and making new friends, making new contacts, expanding my power base? Can I, rather than sitting at home or at lunch break with my sack lunch, can I not again, be listening to a podcast, analyzing deals, right? This is your hybrid time. You have to be somewhere, but you're not necessarily being told what you have to be doing. Premise number 4, the commander's tent. 90% of the battle is won and lost in the commander's tent. What you'll find is if you plan your time, then you will be able to command what you're going to do at that time. If you don't plan your time, just like money, someone else will find something to do with it, right? Something will pop up that will take your time from you. So take the effort to plan, and that's going to be the emphasis and the critical aspect to take away today. Premise number 5, we're talking about planning. I used to have 3 or 4 different calendars of different things I wanted to do and keep track of what all I had to do. You have one life. Therefore, you need to have one planner, one to-do list, one schedule, and one set of accomplishments. One life, one calendar, one planner, one to-do list. For me, I use a pocket day timer. Looks just like this. I carry it around, and I carry it around to the point to where if I don't have it, I feel more naked than if I didn't have my phone. I would encourage you to do the same. And there's things to be said about writing things down physically rather than typing it on the phone. Speak with Tatiana. She'll tell you why even to write in cursive and what that has to do with memory. If it's important, do that. Here's what my timer actually looks like. My day timer actually looks like. In the middle left, you'll see the to-do list. That's where everything I need to get done for the day. Then in the top left, you'll see my schedule. Once I take the to-do list, I actually put it out, actually write it into a schedule, and how much time does everything is it going to take? Down in the bottom left are people I need to contact. That's where I'm going to use my hybrid time. That's the time where if a meeting runs short or if I have a little bit extra minute, I need to make those phone calls over the course of the day. And who actually goes down there? Cliffhanger, show up to Bible study tomorrow when we'll talk about some people you can possibly put down in that bottom left-hand corner on who to contact and who to be reaching out to. And then on the right side is my diary. The diary that's where you keep the important notes for the day. Anything and everything can go in there. Just something that is important to you either to remember for planning for the future or to just something of note that you're on to write. Everything needs to go in there. So when we start talking about planning your time, commanding your time, planning is going to be key and critical. We're going to come back to daily planning. That will affect and you will take control of your day. But if you want to command your life, you need to do this weekly planning. This is what is critical. So for me, you pick a time when it's quiet. You have time to reflect on what needs to get done on the week ahead. For me, that's a Sunday evening. take a time that's an hour, works for me, and choose your time. Make sure that that becomes a habit every week. I would block that time out in your planner. If you're going to use a phone, that's fine. Just make sure that that time is yours. Making sure it's quiet, no distractions. Then you're going to list every commitment. This is your spouse, your parents, finances, health, faith, work, friends, and others. These are the vital people, the vital things that are important in your life. And we will talk about that in a minute on what those are. We will go through it one by one. Then you need to ask yourself, with these commitments, what have I committed to with my life? Be self-reflective in this moment. On these Sunday nights, what am I most unhappy about? It's going to hurt. It's going to be hard. And it's one of those doing the hard things first to make life a little bit easier. What am I not happy about? And then the next question after that is, okay, well, if I'm not happy about it, what am I going to do about it? If something needs to change, who's the person to change? I promise you, it's not them, it's you. So draw a circle around yourself, work on the person inside the circle, and what are you going to do about it? Then, over the week ahead, write out some time on what you're going to do to fix that problem. Then you have your daily session. So schedule everything out, and this will be over the week ahead, and then every day of the week, each day do the same thing, make sure the schedule jives and anything that pops up. So for me, I found that if you start with your bedtime first, you write down what time you're going to go to bed. Everyone knows everyone's different, how much time you need to get your sleep, right? If you start with your bedtime, then you know your wake up time. In between, you actually know how much time you need over the course of the day. But I recommend, until something becomes a perfect habit that you know this is exactly how long it takes, and it takes that long, write it in your planner. For me, wake up time, for example, was a surprise on me. I thought it took me 35 minutes to get ready. It was actually taking me 40 minutes to get ready. And immediately already I was behind. So write everything in the time, from wake up time to drive time to what you're going to need to do, drive back home time, and your planning session every morning as well. Write everything in your planner until it's completed. Meals, exercise, family time, all of that needs to go in there. Then on your to-do list, every morning you're going to have your battle plan. You're going to have a planning session. For me, the start of the week, I would do 45 minutes on my Monday, whatever that workday looks like for you. Take a planning session. I come in early before anyone else shows up for the day because that's my quiet time. I look at the first day of the week, 45 minutes. By the end of the week, I kind of have a plan for the day or plan for the week already. Everything's kind of fallen into place. 15 minutes by the end of the week. But you schedule out that plan for the day. And then there are 4 different levels of tasks. You notice I don't put any low, medium, high priority. There's going to be 4 different types of tasks that are going to go on your to-do lists. This might come from your emails or things that you've thought about during your planning sessions. Urgent. Urgent is your urgent tasks that have a deadline. It doesn't necessarily mean life or death situation, but it is something that has a deadline. For example, if you need to pay a bill by a certain day, that's an urgent task. Just as important, though, is if your wife says, hey, can you pick up some milk on the way home? And you say yes, that is an urgent task, right? Not life or death, but it's an urgent task. It's going to have a deadline. Number 2, I label the urgent tasks with an asterisk. Vital tasks. Vital tasks on my to-do planner, I label with an A. Vital tasks are the 5, 10, 15-year payoff things. They're the little things that you can do each day to make your life easier as you go forward and progress in life. So this is the date night with your wife. This is the spend time with your kid. For me, a vital task, I wanted to spend more time with my son, right? I wanted to have more impact on his direction and the choices he makes with his time and his investments. And so for me, that is spending time. We go to Topgolf once a week. And then also on Monday, we do Medal of Honor Monday. The government puts on a nice website where they honor a veteran every Monday who's received the Medal of Honor and tell their story. That's what I've chosen to do. That's a vital task for me. Then you have all the other stuff that comes up, run-of-the-mill, important things to work on. Those are important. Vital tasks I label with an A. A for vital, asterisk for urgent, B for important tasks. So on important tasks, those are like the normal things. I need to email this person back. I need to get this handled. What I've also found is your urgent tasks, more often than not, are important tasks that you never actually wrote down and scheduled that you needed to do. And so because you waited, things got harder. It got harder to take that step, and now they become an urgent task because you delayed on taking that action. And then finally, there's some unimportant tasks. I personally don't write them down in my planner, but if you need that time, if you need that to do it, just make sure it's not during your critical times of the day, your most productive times of the day. But every now and then, and some of it might be a vital task. But if you have like a spa day, or I'm going to play Minecraft today, and that's something to where it serves no purpose except for wasting time, that's fine. Write it in there, but make sure you adhere to that time and that it's not during a productive time of your day. Make sure that time is scheduled in. On that note, if you need a spa day, if you need time to reflect or time to relax, time to recharge you, that's fine. Also, put it in your schedule. Make sure it's part of your planner. Here's the results I'm seeing. When those interruptions come up, they're like, Justin, that's fine. That's all fine and dandy. But what happens when the interruptions come up? Great. You're focusing on the person that you're with, and you're focusing on them solely in the moment. When something pops up, and it inevitably does, either A, if it's more important than what you're focusing on, if it's an urgent task, then you deal with it right then and there. And at the end of the day, because you had a to-do list written down, you at least know what you missed. You know what you did not get to and how you can come back to it then. The other premise is we talked about white space. I leave white space in my calendar, just like money. If you budget out all your money, 100% of your money, when an unexpected expense comes up, you're not going to have any. Half of Jesus' miracles were interruptions. So I like to schedule, make sure there's white space in my calendar, because that will be filled, and the schedule and my calendar can be moved around for the interruptions that come up in life. But what's awesome is that when I see something that feels like an emergency to somebody else, I can now read that email, say, goes on the to-do list, I can get that done on Friday, I look at my space, or I can move things around as need be. And it might be their emergency, but it's not necessarily mine, not with my priorities in life, not with my one planner, one schedule, one life. But here are also the real results that you can expect to see too. So number one, I can be more present. I can be more focused. I build more confidence, and that gives me the courage to take on bigger tasks. So since then, I've bought 4 more properties, including the most current one becoming a duplex. I'm doing a midterm rental. It's cash flowing, and the basement's going to be rented out to someone who serves in the community at a lower rate longer term. It's an opportunity to give back. I now have enough properties and passive cash flow that I can retire specifically at age 50 with my pension. The cash flow will make up for any money I lose while I'm in retirement. I know on my birthday I can say, see ya, you're laid off. And I will have the same amount of income that I had prior to while I was working. And then I also started an income builders club, and that meets twice monthly, and then it looks like the last schedule. Oh no, it's here. It just didn't. The picture is an old one. And so the last one is because I built up all that confidence. I went to Dustin's mastermind. Dustin's mastermind says, Justin, you're doing the single-family homes. What does GH look like rather than going A, B, C, D, E? What is H? What is I? What is J? And I was like, well, all right, if we're going to be honest and we're going to not do Sunday school answers here, then I am familiar with someone who would like to build an ambulatory surgery center. And so he's like, do it. And so sure enough, I come back, we start talking, I speak with the surgeon, and the surgeon's like, that's a nice goal. My actual big dream is to build a hospital. So that's what we're doing. What's funny is when you take that goal and you make that commitment to take that next step, then things just start to fall in place. And I'll promise you, when you do that, it actually feels like there's a lot less traffic, and it takes massive action, and I can do that. So I'm meeting with surgeons, I'm meeting with architects, I'm meeting with designers, and we're looking to build a specialty surgery hospital in the Colorado area right now. But I tell you what, even if it falls flat on its face, it's something to where it's something you would have told me 5 years ago, this is what I was doing. I would have said, you're delusional, you need to be committed, because I had no command of control of my life or my time. And because I am doing that now, because I was able to command all that, I'm taking these massive actions, these massive steps, and it's something that I think you can do also. With that, it's your turn to commit. So I would recommend you have that white sheet of paper right now. Take a few minutes to write down what are your commitments in your life. Who is your spouse? Are you committed to your kid? What are your commitments to your job? What is your commitments to your faith? What are your commitments to your investments, to your properties? All of it. And then I would take a minute to look and ask yourself, be honest with yourself, what am I most unhappy about? What needs to change in my life? And then finally, right, what am I going to do about it? Take some time. This might not be a right now thing, but just know I need to do something about it. And then tonight, when you reflect, what am I going to do about it? And then immediately put that on the calendar right then and there. Take back control of your time like your life depends on it, because it actually does. Thank you, everybody. I'm Justin Mullins. I will be here all week. If you have questions about your time, come talk to me.
And that is it for today. Go ahead and get my free real estate investing course. Text the word rental to 33777, RENTAL to 33777. You can also join my Real Estate Wealth Builders group coaching. Get all my courses. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next show. See ya.